I never thought kindness could be a firing offense. But Harlan made it one that Tuesday afternoon, right there in the glass-walled conference room of Apex Dynamics, with the whole sales team watching like it was primetime reality TV. "Alina, your empathy is a liability in this game," he sneered, his voice echoing off the polished mahogany table. Too soft for the kill-or-be-killed streets of Chicago finance. I stood there, 32 years old, clutching my performance review like a lifeline. As he escorted me out past cubicles buzzing with whispers, my desk already cleared by security, my access badge yanked from my lanyard before the elevator doors even hissed shut. But the real gut punch came later that night, when I broke into his lakeside mansion to steal back the prototype neural interface he'd buried in my old project files, only to trigger the damn thing and wake up staring at my own terrified face from across the room, trapped in Harlan's body, with 7 days to burn his world down before the swap timer ran out. It started 6 months earlier, back when I was still the golden girl of the third-floor bullpen, the one who remembered birthdays and covered shifts without a grudge. Apex Dynamics wasn't your typical Wall Street wolf den. It was Chicago's slick underbelly of biotech startups, where we peddled neural enhancement gadgets to stressed-out execs, think smartwatches on steroids, but with whispers of something darker bubbling under the FDA approvals. Harlan Voss, our CEO, was the kingpin mid-50s. Silver fox hair slicked back like a used car salesman from a Scorsese flick. Always in bespoke suits that screamed old money and newer sins. He poached me from a nonprofit in Evanston because I had that rare blend of heart and hustle, or so his recruiter said over martinis at the Gauge.
Lie.
From day one, it was clear I was his buffer, the nice cop to his bad, the one who'd smooth over client freakouts when his innovations glitched and left users with migraines or worse. The betrayal hit like a Lake Michigan gale on my first big project. We were beta testing the Nexus Link, a headband that synced brainwaves for seamless team collaboration. Sounded utopian, right?
Wrong.
Harlan had cut corners, sourcing black market chips from Shenzhen that fried synapses if you pushed too hard. During a demo for a venture capital shark from New York, the thing shorted out mid-pitch, left the lead engineer, poor kid named Raj, seizing on the floor, foam at the mouth. Chaos. Sirens. Lawsuits looming like storm clouds over the loop. I covered for him. God. Why did I? Because he pulled me aside in the ambulance bay, eyes wet with that fake vulnerability he reserved for board meetings, and whispered, "Alina, you're the only one I trust. Say it was your tweak, your call to rush the firmware. I'll make you VP. Too kind, they called it later. Too loyal." I took the heat, fabricated emails, signed off on falsified reports, even sat through the internal audit smiling like a step-forward wife. Raj got a quiet severance. I got a slap on the wrist and Harlan's Golden Boy promotion. But the secret gnawed at me. The real nexus wasn't for collaboration. It was a backdoor into minds. A swapper. Harlan had been testing it on lab rats, flipping personalities like pancakes, all to offload his own guilt-ridden psyche onto some disposable intern one day. He'd buried the code in my files to keep his hands clean. I found out 3 weeks ago, hacking his encrypted drive during a late-night strategy session that was really just him pounding bourbon and ranting about the weak dragging down the strong. Fired for being too kind. Bullshit. It was for getting too close to his skeletons. That review? A smokescreen for the audit trail I'd accidentally unearthed, the one linking Nexus glitches to 3 unreported user deaths, hushed up with NDAs and offshore payoffs. He couldn't risk me talking, so out I went, box lunch and all. I spent the drive home from the loop in my beat-up Civic, radio blasting Springsteen to drown the sobs, plotting nothing but a hot bath and a gallon of Ben and Jerry's. But rage is a funny beast in the Windy City. It ferments fast under sodium vapor streetlights. By midnight, I was outside his Gold Coast fortress, a McMansion of glass and steel overlooking the yacht club, where elites docked their egos like superyachts. I'd cloned his keycard months back, paranoia from too many team-building poker nights where he'd flash his poker face and I'd lose my shirt. Slipped in through the service entrance, past the humming wine cellar, up to his study. The prototype sat on his desk like a crown jewel, matte black headband, wires snaking to a laptop humming with forbidden code. My files. My goddamn work. I jacked it in, fingers flying to download the evidence, emails, wire transfers, autopsy redacts, onto a thumb drive shaped like a lucky rabbit's foot. That's when the alarms tripped. Not the silent corporate kind, but the experimental failsafe, a neural pulse that locked the room. Screens flickering with Harlan's Vanity Project logo, a brain entwined in barbed wire. Intruder protocol engaged, the AI droned, voice like a bad Siri impression. I yanked the drive, but too late, the headband sparked, arcing blue lightning that smelled like ozone and regret. Pain exploded behind my eyes, a migraine on steroids, and then nothing. Blackout. Woke to silk sheets and a view of my own ceiling fan. But wrong. All wrong. My hands, veiny, manicured claws with a Rolex that could pay my rent for a year. Chest hair itching under Egyptian cotton. I bolted upright, heart hammering like a jackhammer on Michigan Avenue. And there she was, me, sprawled in the armchair across the room, eyes wide in Harlan's stolen shell, gasping like a fish on the pier. What the fuck, we both croaked. But it was my voice from his mouth, baritone gravel, that made me gag. The laptop screen blinked to life. Swap initiated. Duration, 168 hours. Reversal requires mutual consent at endpoint. 7 days. His pet project turned against him.
Turns out,
the Nexus wasn't just a swapper. It was a revenge machine, hard-coded to punish the unworthy. I triggered it by accessing the buried code, the one I'd written as a failsafe, back when I thought we were building the future. Irony.
thy name is biotech.
In that moment, staring at my own face twisted in panic, I made my first controversial call, no mercy. Harlan Voss had built his empire on broken backs, mine included, and now, in his skin, I'd wear it like a noose. Alina, he whimpered from my lips, scrambling up on unfamiliar legs. This is insane. We switch back now. Call IT. The lawyers. Shut up, I snarled, Harlan's timbre turning it into a boardroom bark. You fired me today. Remember? For being too kind. I grabbed his phone, my phone from the nightstand, thumbing through texts from his mistress, du jour, a leggy analyst named Tessa who'd been gunning for my job.
Delete.
Block. Then the real fun, dialing Apex's emergency line. Voice modulator off. Playing the part. This is Voss. Lock down the servers. Intruder in my home. Possible corporate espionage. His eyes, my eyes, bulged in betrayal. Security would swarm in minutes. I'd be the hero. He'd be the perp in a holding cell by dawn. As sirens wailed in the distance, I leaned in close, breath hot on my own cheek. Welcome to my world.
Harlan.
Let's see how kind you really are when the wolves turn. The squad cars lit up the manicured lawn like a bad cop show. Red and blues pulsing off the lake like blood and water. Though there wasn't a drop spilled, not yet. I watched from the study window. Harlan's broad shoulders squared in his silk robe, as tactical vests swarmed the foyer downstairs. Mr. Voss. Ma'am. Hands up, one barked through the bullhorn.
Ma'am.
That stung. Hearing my gender stripped away in his chrome and leather prison of a body. But I played it cool, channeling every executive TED Talk I'd endured. Calm. Commanding. The alpha in the room. Alina. Please, he begged from my slight frame, voice cracking like a teenager's. This is kidnapping. Assault. They'll throw the book at you, me, us. He lunged for the laptop. But I snatched it first. Harlan's longer arms making it easy. The screen ticked, 166:42:17. Plenty of time to rewrite the narrative. Downstairs. The cops cuffed me, him, zip ties biting into wrists I'd once lotioned religiously, and hauled him into the chill November air. Flashbulbs popped from the neighbor's drone, already viral fodder for the Sun-Times Society pages. Apex CEO's ex-employee in home invasion shocker. I followed at a regal distance, barking orders, full sweep. Check for Nexus prototypes, classified. The lead detective, a grizzled vet named Kowalski with a bear's cap shadowing his scowl, nodded like I was God. On it.
Sir.
You okay? She get handsy. Handsy. If only he knew.
Check'n, I lied.
Harlan's timbre steady as Lake Shore Drive traffic. She was ranting about the firing. Unhinged. Might be on something. They bought it hook,
Line,
and sinker, classic Chicago PD, more interested in the overtime than the nuance. By 3 a.m., he was in a holding cell at the 18th District, fingerprint scanned, mugshot taken in my favorite emerald blouse. I drove his Audi back to his penthouse, the engine purring like a satisfied cat. Radio tuned to WGN for the overnight talk, breaking, biotech billionaire Voss assaulted by disgruntled ex. Stay tuned. Sleep was a joke. Harlan's body was a stranger, bladder like a colander, joints creaking like the L tracks at rush hour. I tossed in his king-sized bed, sheets smelling of his sandalwood cologne and faint regret, mind racing through the playbook. Day 1, isolate. Day 2, infiltrate. By day 7, his kingdom crumbles, and I'm back in my skin, thumb drive in hand, walking into a corner office or a witness stand, dealer's choice. Morning broke gray over the skyline. Coffee bitter on his tongue as I suited up. Charcoal Armani. Tie knotted Windsor perfect from muscle memory, I'd known. The mirror mocked me, Harlan's jowls, his predatory squint. Morning, boss, I muttered, practicing the smirk. Apex's HQ loomed downtown, a glass monolith off the Mag Mile, where baristas slung $8 lattes to interns dreaming of stock options. I parked in his reserved spot, badge swiping me past the lobby ferns, elevator dinging to the C-suite hush. Tessa was first at bat, perched on his desk like she owned it, legs crossed in pencil skirt, filing her nails. Harlan, baby, heard about the drama. You okay? Her eyes raked me over. Lingering on the tie, too tight? Loose? I adjusted, stepping into character.
Fine.
Better than fine. I circled. Harlan's loafers silent on the Berber carpet. Alina's in custody. Good riddance. Lie number 1. Smooth as bourbon. She purred sympathy. But I saw the calculation. Vacancy at VP sales meant her shot at the throne.
Perfect.
Actually,
Tessa.
need you on damage control. Leaked to Cranes that the firing was preemptive, suspected embezzlement. Make her look dirty. Her brows arched, but she nodded, typing furiously. Controversial? Hell yes, smearing my own name to the trade rags. But it bought time. Planted the seed that Alina had motive beyond a pink slip. By lunch, the wires hummed. Apex ex-exec nabbed in CEO stalking plot. Financial foul play suspected? Harlan's phone buzzed nonstop in my pocket. Board members. His divorce lawyer. A burner from some Cayman accountant. I fielded them all. Voice modulator on for the ex. Stonewalling the suits with promises of all-hands briefings. But the real work was underground, his private server in the basement lab, guarded by biometrics that now sang to his print. Jacked in. I sifted the dirt. Wire transfers to a shell company called Echovale. $2 mil funneled last quarter. Not embezzlement, extortion. Harlan had been shaking down competitors, using Nexus prototypes to persuade during off-books meetings. Mind games, leaving victims paranoid. Compliant. One file, a rival CEO from Milwaukee. Post-Nexus session, signing over patents with trembling hands. No wonder the deaths were buried, witnesses too broken to talk. My stomach turned, his stomach, acid reflux flaring like a bad burrito. I'd borne this?
No.
Worse, the audit I'd covered for wasn't just glitches. It was a hit. Raj's seizure? Harlan dosed him deliberately, testing loyalty thresholds, then pinned the firmware rush on me to tie off loose ends. Deep breath. Alina. In his skin. I drafted the exposé. Anonymized docs. Timestamps linking Voss to the payoffs. Not sending yet. Tease it to a friendly reporter at the Tribune. Off record. Sources say Apex's golden boy has feet of clay. Afternoon blurred into conference calls. Harlan's charisma a mask I wore like ill-fitting Spanx. The team bought it. High fives in the break room. Glad you're safe, boss. But Tessa lingered. Eyes narrowing at my coffee order. Black. No foam. Harlan took his without milk and a twist.
Sloppy.
Jet lag from the trip? She probed. All honey and venom. Long night. I deflected. Firing off an email to HR. Rehire Alina conditionally, post-interrogation. We need her insights. Controversial pivot. Make it look like mercy. But really?
Bait.
Let him stew and lock up. Thinking I'd cracked. Begging for a lifeline. By evening, I was back at the precinct, flashing credentials for a private consult. He looked small in the interrogation room, my body, slouched in orange scrubs that clashed with the green eyes I'd always hated. Harlan, the guard grunted, unlocking the door. We sat across scarred formica, plexiglass humming with one-way mirror vibes. You bitch, he hissed, my lips curling in his rage. This ends now. Switch us back. Timer says no. I slid a legal pad over. Pen clipped to the edge. Write it. Confession. The Nexus deaths. The payoffs. My framing. Do it. And maybe I don't leak your browser history to the missus. My fists balled. You're ruining everything. I built this. You're nothing without me. Kindness got me canned. Let's see what ruthlessness buys. I stood. Harlan's height looming. Tick-tock.
Boss.
Day one's just foreplay. As I left, his pleas echoing down the hall, Alina.
Wait.
I felt the first real thrill. Power. Unfiltered. Coursing through stolen veins. Chicago's night swallowed me. L rumbling overhead. A city of hustlers cheering on the underdog. Or was I the heel now? Didn't matter. The swap was my scalpel, his empire. The flesh. Day 2 dawned with rain sluicing the high-rises, turning the Mag Mile into a watercolor smear of umbrellas and hurried suits. I woke in Harlan's penthouse to the ping of his smart fridge, low on kale smoothies, and the buzz of encrypted text from Ghost, extraction window closing. Deliver prototype or forfeit. Ghost? His Cayman fixer. No doubt. The shadow behind Echo Vale. I pocketed the phone. Harlan's fingers steady as I brewed his pod coffee. Black and bitter to match the mood. Mirror check. Tie straight. Smirk practiced.
Today.
We dig deeper, expose the roots, not just the rot. Apex hummed with post-scandal energy when I arrived. Interns whispering like pigeons in Grant Park. Tessa cornered me in the elevator. Perfume cloying as cheap Kiani. Cranes is running the leak. You're a genius or a monster. Her smile didn't reach those shark eyes. Alina's lawyer called. Bail hearing tomorrow. You testifying? Wouldn't miss it.
Lie.
I'd greased the judge's cousin last night. Harlan's Rolodex was a Rolodex of favors. From aldermen to bookies. Bail denied. Painted as flight risk. Controversial? Framing your own face for felony assault?
Yeah.
But in this town, loyalty's a currency. And Harlan had bankrupted mine. The boardroom briefing was theater. 20 execs in ergonomic chairs. Projections flickering with stock dips, down 3% on the incident. I stood at the head. Harlan's voice booming.
Team.
This is a hiccup. Alina's actions stem from personal grievance, not corporate malfeasance. We're doubling security.
Auditing personnel.
Nods all around. But I spotted the cracks. CFO Jenkins. Sweating through his polo. Avoiding my gaze. Harlan's payroll puppet. Skimming 10% on the echo wires. I marked him. Post-meeting email. Jenkins. My office.
Now.
He shuffled in like a man to the gallows. Balding pate gleaming under fluorescence. Sir? About the Q3 forecasts. Save it. I tossed a printout across the desk. Transaction logs. Timestamps matching his vacation to Aruba. Echo Vale. Cute name for a slush fund. You in or out? His jowls quivered. Harlan. I don't know what. Out means prison. It means you flip. Testify to the Nexus cover-ups. Raj's death wasn't a glitch. It was you signing off on tainted chips. Bluff. Half true. Logs showed his approval. But I doctored the rest overnight. Photoshop skills from college scenes. He cracked like eggshell. Babbling names. Dates. A whistleblower affidavit drafted on the spot. Controversial decision. Coerce a confession with fabricated evidence? In Harlan's world, it was Tuesday. But as he signed, trembling, I felt the line blur. Was I saving the company or just pruning the branches to graft my own? Lunch was power kale at RL, the polo lounge where deals died over duck confit. Seated with the Trib reporter, a chain-smoking vet named O'Malley who'd covered Enron 2.0. I leaked selective dirt. Anonymous source close to Voss says embezzlement probe imminent. Multiple execs implicated. He scribbled furiously, eyes lighting like the 4th over Navy Pier. This blows the lid.
Kid.
Front page. Buried byline. Protect your source. Cash slipped under the napkin. Harlan's habit. 5 Benjamins crisp as new snow. By 2 p.m., wires lit up. Apex Insider. CEO's inner circle in embezzlement web. Stock plunged another 5%. Traders howling on CNBC like auctioneers at the Merc. Back at HQ. Chaos. Phones ringing off hooks.
PR scrambling.
Tessa burst in. Face flushed. Harlan. What the hell? Jenkins just quit, left a suicide note or some shit. Cops are coming.
Suicide note?
My bluff had bite. Handle it. And Tessa. I paused. Harlan's eyes narrowing. She'd been his mole. Feeding dirt on me to HR. Time to cut the cord. You're out. Effective immediately. Conflict of interest. Her laugh was brittle, like autumn leaves underfoot. Me? After last night? You promised. Promises are for suckers. I buzzed security. They escorted her out. Stilettos clicking fury down the hall. Controversial? Gutting your rival's ally while wearing your enemy's face? Poetic. In a Dante way. But as the door clicked shut, doubt wormed in. Was I dismantling Apex or just Harlan's rivals? Clearing my path, evening brought the precinct visit. Rain drumming on the cruiser roof as I badged in. He was in Gen Pop now. My body hurted with drunks and dealers. Orange jumpsuit swallowing the curves I'd cursed in mirrors. Voss, the guard sneered. But I waved him off, bribe money greased even here. Through the glass. He pressed close. Breath fogging the partition. Alina. They're breaking me in there. Fights. Questions. Your body's not built for this. Bruises bloomed on my cheek. A shiner from some cell block hazing. Guilt twisted. Sharp as a stiletto. But I shoved it down. Write the confession. Full truth. The hits. The swaps. How you framed me for Raj. I can't. It'd tank everything. My eyes welled. Mascara smearing like war paint. We were partners once. Remember Cabo? You said I was your mentor. Mentor. The word soured. Cabo was the trip where he dosed the team with Nexus prototypes. Calling it bonding. I woke with gaps. Decisions I didn't recall. Approvals for the tainted chips. He'd been swapping us in microbursts. Testing control. Partners don't fire each other for digging too deep. A buzzer sounded. Visiting hours ending. Tick-tock, I echoed.
Standing.
But as I turned, he slammed the glass. You're becoming me. This revenge, it's poison.
Poison.
Maybe. Outside. Rain soaked Harlan's coat. Cabbies honking like geese. I slid into a dive bar off division, nursing a Macallan that burned wrong in his throat. Locals chattered about the Apex scandal. Voss is dirty as the river, and I smiled into my glass. Day 2, roots exposed, branches falling. But the mirror above the bar showed a man unraveling, eyes haunted. Whose poison?
Exactly?
End of file 3, word count, 1005. Day 3 cracked open with federal heat. FBI vans squatting up outside Apex like a Michael Mann set piece. Black SUVs gleaming wet from the night's downpour. O'Malley's piece had drawn the suits, white-collar wolves in trench coats. Badges flashing like switchblades. I watched from Harlan's corner office. Blinds slatted against the glare. As agents swarmed the lobby, flash drives and laptops vanishing into evidence bags. Stock, in freefall, down 12% at open. CNBC pundits crowing, Apex implosion, biotech bubble bursts. His heart, pounded steady, but sweat beaded on my brow. Unfamiliar droplets tracing the jawline I'd once envied for its resolve. The confession from Jenkins had been the match, now the blaze. I hit speed dial for the company lawyer. A silver-tongued shark named Lipschitz from Sidley, Austin. Harlan. It's biblical. Feds want you downtown. Voluntarily. They say, bull. Stall them. My voice. His gravel. Cut clean. Plead the fifth on everything but the weather. And Alina, double her charges. Add conspiracy. Controversial calculus. Bury him deeper to buy breathing room. Even if it meant my rap sheet grew fangs. Lipschitz chuckled. That dry barrister bark. Your ice today?
Was.
The old you would have lawyered up and golfed.
Old me.
The irony curled like smoke. I hung up, fingers drumming the blotter, Harlan's tick when plotting. Today, consolidate. The board was fracturing. Time to poach the loyalists. Torch the rest. First call, Elena Vesquez, head of R&D. A Latina powerhouse from Pilsen who'd mentored me through the Nexus beta. Harlan, heard the feds are circling. We need a plan. Come up.
Now.
She arrived in 10. Lab coat over jeans. Dark hair in a no-nonsense bun. Eyes sharp as scalpels. Alina's framing you, us, for the glitches. But I saw the code. It's yours.
Oof. Close.
Smart girl. Which is why you're my new COO. Effective yesterday. Help me purge the rot, Jenkins. Tessa. The lot. I slid the Jenkins affidavit across, redacted to shield her. She scanned, lips thinning.
This.
It's explosive.
But Alina?
She covered for us. Took the fall for Raj. Took the fall for me. The words hung. Truth peeking through the lie. Elena's gaze softened. Pity? Suspicion? Harlan. You've changed. Softer. Somehow. Trauma does that. I met her eyes. Harlan's blues piercing. Controversial play. Trust a subordinate with the crown? In his world. Delegation was death. But I needed allies. Not echoes. She nodded, pocketing the file. For Alina.
Then.
Let's burn it clean. By noon. Purges rolled. Emails firing half the C-suite. Press release spinning, leadership refresh amid investigation. Stock stabilized, a sucker rally, but whispers spread. Voss is remaking the wheel. Feds hauled me in at 1 p.m. Mirrored room reeking of stale Joe and bureaucracy. Agent Ruiz, a no-nonsense Fed with a socks lanyard, leaned in. Mr. Voss. Embezzlement. Manslaughter via product defect. Your ex. Alina Reyes, she's singing like Sinatra. Wants immunity. Singing? Bluff or break. I smirked. Harlan's poker face locking in. Ask her about the Nexus swaps. She coded the failsafe, knew the risks. Half-truth. I'd built the reversal. But he'd weaponized it. Ruiz's pen paused. Swaps?
Like.
Body swaps. Classified. But if you want the logs, subpoena my servers. I clammed up. Lipschitz droning legalese till they cut me loose at dusk. No cuffs but a tail on the Audi. Evening shift, the lockup. He was in solitary now. My body, gaunt under fluorescence. Bruises fading to yellow like bad abstract art. Feds, he rasped through the grill. Voice, my voice, raw. They're on to echo. Jenkins flipped. I pressed the glass. Close enough to fog it. Confess. Harlan. End this. And let you waltz back? In my body. My life. He laughed. Bitter. I know you, Alina. That kindness, it's weakness. You covered for me because you craved the scraps. Now you're feasting, but you'll choke.
Choke.
The word lodged. His cologne, my perfume, wafting through the vent. Day 3's winds felt hollow, allies bought, enemies culled. But the Fed's questions echoed. What if Elena dug too deep? What if Ruiz connected the swap dots? Night fell heavy, city lights smearing like regrets. I hit a speakeasy off Wicker Park, buried in a muraled basement where bartenders poured absinthe like confessions.
Solo.
In Harlan's skin, I nursed a caesary, eavesdropping on yuppies dissecting the scandal. Voss is done. But that new COO? Vasquez, she's fire. Pride flickered. Unbidden. My work. My network. But the stool's reflection showed a man adrift. Tie loosened. Eyes hollow. Becoming him? Or worse, losing me? A burner buzzed. Ghost again. Prototype.
Now.
Or your secret surface.
Attached. A photo me. Pre-swap.
At the non-profit gala. Smiling naive. Leverage. I typed back. Harlan's thumbs flying. Meet at the lab. Midnight. Trap set. Controversial endgame. Lure the shadow.
Expose the web.
But as the clock ticked, 1:20:00:00, even the rain seemed to whisper doubt. Day 4 broke with betrayals aftertaste, the kind that lingers like yesterday's garlic fries from Gold Coast dogs. Elena's refresh had Apex buzzing new memos. Reorg charts pinning the fall guys, but Ghost's text burned in my pocket. A fuse to Harlan's underworld. Midnight meet at the lab, neutral ground, or so the shadow thought. I prepped solo. Harlan's hands loading a Nexus duplicate into a Faraday case. Code tweaked to reverse swap on command. No mutual consent needed now. I'd hacked the failsafe, turning his toy against him. Controversial? Rigging the rig to trap a criminal? In Chicago. It's called Tuesday Survival. Morning board call was a minefield. Virtual faces from Hampton's hideouts. Voices tinny over Zoom. Harlan. The street spooked. Buyout offers incoming. Blackstone sniffing. I leaned into the webcam. His profile stern. We fight. Elena's got the cleanup. I'm handling the feds. Murmurs. Then a vote. Interim CEO powers to me. Him, unfettered.
Win.
But as screens winked out, a private chat pinged from the chairman. Voss, you're off. Too erratic. Step down quietly. Off. After the purge, Harlan's empire. Gnawing its own tail. Rage boiled. Unfamiliar heat in his chest. I dialed Elena. Double time the audit. Bury the chairman's ties to echo. He's in deep. Her paws stretched. Then, Harlan. This feels personal. Like you're not just saving the ship, you're sinking it. Sinking his
slip.
She caught it, voice sharpening. What? Nothing. Trust me.
Click.
Trust, the currency I'd spent dry. By lunch, the Trib ran O'Malley's follow-up. Apex boardroom bloodbath. Voss purges rivals amid probe.
Stock yo-yoed.
Traders betting on implosion. Feds called again Ruiz. Voice like gravel under tires. Voss. Your ex's lawyer dropped a bomb. Body swap tech?
Son's chifi.
But we've got logs. Care to explain? Classified prototype. Stolen by Alina. The life flowed easy now. Harlan's cadence owning it. Check her apartment, evidence there. I'd planted a Nexus shard in my old closet. Fingerprints his. Controversial frame-up. Implicate my shell to shield the swap?
Yeah.
But it bought 48 hours. Afternoon blurred into shadow work, tailing Ghost's IP to a warehouse off the Dan Ryan. Rust bucket relic from steel mill days. I drove Harlan's Porsche Incognito. Plates swapped with a valet's beater. Inside, crates of bootleg chips. Air thick with solder and sin. Ghost materialized at midnight, lean Latino in a pork pie hat. Eyes like oil slicks.
Voss.
The toy. I handed the case.
Pulse thumping.
Full payment first. He smirked. Wire transferring to a dummy account, mine.
Offshore.
Then the activate. Nexus humming. Blue arc leaping. But my tweak kicked in, pulse inverting. Ghost convulsing as his mind flipped into a ratty mannequin rigged nearby. A decoy stuffed with Harlan's dirty laundry. He slumped. Trapped in vinyl limbo.
What?
The fuck? Gurgled from the dummy's speakers. His voice digitized. Justice.
Cabrón.
I zip-tied the case.
Dayeling Ruiz Animes, Warehouse 47.
Echo Vale Hub. Prototype inside. Raid by 1 a.m. Headlines by dawn. Apex scandal deepens. Cartel ties exposed. Harlan's web.
Unser Ventret betret.
Dawn found me at the precinct. Exhaustion gnawing like a bad hangover. He looked wrecked, my body. Skeletal now. Eyes sunken sockets. Ghost, he croaked. Divining the hit. Bagged. Your secrets are swimming upstream. I slid the confession pad again.
Sign.
Or watch from a supermax cell. Tears tracked my cheeks, his despair. Alina. Stop. The swap. It was for you. To toughen you. I saw potential. Buried under that do-gooder crap. The firings, the frames, it was to forge you.
Forge.
The word ignited. You killed Raj. Dosed him to test me. No, to save you from weakness. Madness in my mirrored gaze. Sign. And I'll beg you back.
Coup.
Queen. Beg. The title echoed. A siren's call. 96 hours. Controversial crossroads. Mercy or massacre. I stood. Storming out as he howled. Day 5. Empire's Endgame. Elena confronted in the lab. Affidavit in hand. Harlan, Alina? The code matches your style. The purges. It's revenge. Truth cracked open. Raw as lake fish. Yes. No mask left. He betrayed me. Framed me.
But I
became him. She holstered the drive. Then end it right. Expose everything. For Raj. Ally turned inquisitor. I nodded, hitting send on the full dossier to feds. Board.
press.
Stock cratered 40%. Apex shares toilet paper worthless. Harlan's pleas flooded the phone. Voicemails from lockup. Return. Fix this. Begging. As promised. Climax hit at reversal eve. Boardroom siege. Feds storming as I activated the master nexus. Harlan helicoptered and under medical emergency. Cuffed to the chair. My body thrashing. Switch now.
Ruiz barked.
Guns drawn. Timer zeroed. Arc flared, bodies blurring. Mind snapping back. I gasped awake in my skin. Slender and scarred. Harlan in his wild-eyed. Alina. Twist. Elena's drive played, his voice. Pre-swap. Alina's the real brains. Frame her. Promote me. No. Reversed, my voice. Doctored? No, truth. I'd known the deaths. Covered deeper than he knew. Complicit in the code. His betrayal?
Mine too. Mirrored.
We'd forged each other in fire. Ending, he begged. On knees amid the raid. Return. Fix it. I walked. Free but fractured, queen of ruins. Or just another hustler. Chicago judged. Streets whispering. Justice or just another con. You decide.